Good evening, you are watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Ministry of Health announces 930 new confirmed cases of COVID-19. The United States shares a proposal to extend Iran arms embargo with Russia. And the group of the 20 pledges more than 21 billion US dollars to fight coronavirus. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. The Ministry of Health announced 930 new confirmed cases of COVID-19, which brings the total number registered in the Sultanate to 16,016, including 72 deaths. The Ministry of Health stresses that 3,451 cases have been recovered.
Within the efforts to limit the spread of COVID-19, the ministry advises all citizens and residents to keep on washing hands with water and soap. Avoid touching the face, nose, mouth and eyes. Follow hygienic habits when coughing and sneezing. Adhere strictly to social distancing instructions. Stay at home and not to go out unless absolutely necessary. Adhering to isolation and social distancing will prevent you, your family and the community from COVID-19. Stay safe.
The Supervisory Committee of the Labor Market and the Employment Lab of the National Program for Economic Diversification (TENFID) discussed during its fourth meeting of the year the latest developments resulting from the impacts of the coronavirus pandemic on the lab's work process and alternative plans for the follow-up of the implementation and achieving performance indicators. The committee also reviewed the executive situation of the initiatives and what has been achieved of work steps as per the approved schedules. The meeting was chaired by His Excellency Abdullah bin Nasser al-Bakri, Minister of Manpower. With the capacity of 3,400 tons annually, an agreement was signed to establish prawn aquaculture farm at Khuwaima village in the wilaya of Ja'lan Bani Bu Ali. According to the agreement, implementing company, the project will be granted an area of around 200 acres allocated for aquaculture of Indian prawns, which is the major commercial prawn species of the world. This type of prawn is also the most convenient to the climate in the wilaya of Ja'lan Bani Bu Ali. The total value of deposits in the commercial banks in the Sultanate increased by 9% by the end of March 2020 to reach around 14 billion Omani riyals. The Central Bank of Oman pointed out that the total value of those deposits were represented in time deposits reaching around 5 billion riyals and saving deposits worth 5 billion riyals, in addition to demand deposits which reached around 4 billion Omani riyals. The total number of guests at 3-, 4- and 5-star hotels by the end of March 2020 reached 390,000 guests, with the decrease of 19.5% compared to the same period last year. The revenues of these hotels reached 54 million Omani riyals, as per the statistical bulletin issued by the National Center for Statistics and Information. The number of the European guests occupied the highest percentage. Still to come on News Bulletin. Many of the mountainous areas in the governorate of the Far are carpeted with lush greenery after the recent rainfalls.
Non-compliance with the directives of the Supreme Committee dealing with coronavirus COVID-19 exposes you to risk and legal action. Stay safe.
Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. U.S. Ambassador Kelly Craft said she has shared a draft of UN Security Council resolution with Russia that would extend the arms embargo against Iran indefinitely. Russia's UN Ambassador Vasily Nebenzia said last month that Moscow will oppose any U.S. attempts to extend the arms embargo, which expires on October 18th, and reimpose UN sanctions on Iran. Kraft told a press briefing yesterday that she also shared the draft with the United Kingdom, France, Germany, and Estonia, and hopes to give the draft to the rest of the 50-member Security Council pretty soon. More than 6.77 million people have been reported infected with the new coronavirus globally, and 395,053 have died. Russia reported 8,855 new cases today, pushing the total number of infections to 458,689. Officials said that 197 people had died in the last 24 hours, bringing the official nationwide death toll to 5,725. Indonesia reported today its biggest daily rise in coronavirus infections, with 993 new cases, taking its total number to 30,514 and the total deaths to 1,801. Brazil reported an additional 1,005 novel coronavirus deaths and 30,813 new cases over the last 24 hours. It has now registered 35,026 deaths and 645,771 confirmed cases. India reported a record of 9,887 new coronavirus cases in one day today, and it overtook Italy as the world's sixth biggest outbreak 2 days before the relaxing of a lockdown, with its total number of cases rising to more than 236,000. India now has fewer infections than only the United States, Brazil, Russia, Britain, and Spain. The group of 20 rich and emerging economies has pledged more than $21 billion to fight the coronavirus. The G20, with invited countries, has coordinated the global efforts to support the fight against COVID-19 pandemic. The pledges will be directed towards diagnostics, vaccines, therapeutics, and research and development. In April, the group called on all countries, non-governmental organizations, philanthropies, and the private sector to help close a financing gap estimated with over $8 billion to combat the COVID-19 pandemic. Saudi Arabia, the current G20 chair, has pledged more than $500 million to support global efforts to combat the pandemic. OPEC, Russia, and their allies hold talks today on extending record oil production cuts that have doubled oil prices since April and will push countries such as Iraq and Nigeria to deliver better compliance with output quotas. Nigeria's oil minister said he expected an extension deal, which already has the backing of Russia and Saudi Arabia, to be concluded in the video conference, despite reservations of one or two member countries. The alliance known as OPEC Plus previously agreed to cut supply by a record of 9.7 million barrels per day during May-June to prop up prices that collapsed due to the coronavirus crisis. Cuts were due to taper to 7.7 million barrels per day from July to December. The mountains in the wilaya of Dalqut al-Rakhyut and the governorate of Dhofar were covered with greenery due to the recent rainfalls. The following footage reflects the beauty of nature in the governorate. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's news bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Ministry of Health announces 913 new confirmed cases of COVID-19. The United States shares a proposal to extend Iran arms embargo with Russia. And the group of 20 pledges more than $21 billion to fight coronavirus. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, thank you for watching and have a good night.